Hi there, welcome back to this series of record reviews with me, JVT. Episode 14. Geez, we'll be up for Logie soon, surely. Coming to you from the warm New York City, summer in the city. Getting warmer now. Getting into the summer holiday period. Kids will be home every day soon, so that's something to look forward to. Yeah, it's been a month since we spoke to you last. Saw Steely Dan. We saw Steely Dan again in the same venue out at the Capitol Theatre out in Port Chester in Westchester County. About 20 miles, 20 k's out of New York City. Great venue. And they were awesome. Steely Dan are just brilliant musicians, so if you ever get a chance to see them, jump to it. We also saw Jerry Seinfeld at the Beacon Theatre here on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Speaking of legends, Jerry was cracking gags, telling stories. He was superb. It was Jerry Seinfeld, and I couldn't believe I was sitting there watching Jerry Seinfeld crack gags to me. Took my mum and dad. They were over for a holiday, so they enjoyed that as well. They also went and saw Steely Dan, so they rocked and they laughed. So a good time was had by all. Coming up in the next few weeks, we're going to see Coldplay, which is a big show out at the Meadowlands. Not the Meadowlands. I don't even know what it's called. MetLife Stadium over in New Jersey here. It's a big football stadium. So that should be interesting. I've said before, a lot of people bag Coldplay, but I don't mind. They're okay. Good show I'm looking forward to. I think next week or the week after, we're going to see Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. We saw Noel and his band last year at Webster Hall, just down here on Union Square. And he's great. He throws a fair few Oasis songs in there as well, but his last two records are unbelievable, so I look forward to seeing him do some stuff off Chasing Yesterday, his most recent record. Yeah, so there you go. Record Store Day happened since we saw you last. Went to the UK for a trip for a week and picked up a few things, so let's go through a few of the stuff we picked up. On Record Store Day, this wasn't a Record Store Day release, but a new record from Iggy Pop, who's got together with Joshua Homme from Caius and Queens of the Stone Age, the great musician, guitar player Joshua Homme, and Dean from Queens of the Stone Age, and Matt on drums from Arctic Monkeys. Got themselves together and went out to Joshua Tree in the California desert and recorded this sort of garage rock record, I suppose you call it. Goes pretty well. I've played it a couple of times. Iggy's got himself a nice record and he's surrounded himself with some really good musicians. So have a listen to Post Pop Depression by Iggy Pop. Good stuff. What else we got? So Record Store Day. This is the first album or the UK debut album by the Easy Beats, the Australian legends, Harry Vanner and George Young and their buddies, Stevie Wright on vocals. Friday on My Mind was their huge hit. This is the first ever release in the United States, so they put it out on Record Store Day. Good Friday by the Easy Beats, classic Aussie Australian rock. Burst them into superstardom around the world. And of course, Harry and George went on to help George's little brothers in a band called AC/DC, who went on to pretty good things too. Couldn't walk out of the record store without picking this up. This is a live record from the Shepherd's Bush Empire in London in 2015, as you can see there, by the great Public Image Limited, my favourite band of all time. A good mix of newer songs and old songs. Double Trouble off the new record, What the World Needs Now. Pill live. If you get a chance to see this mob live, do that for sure. Now this is another one. This is a red vinyl double record, an older live record by Pill I picked up on, I think I picked it up on Record Store Day. I might have actually picked this up in England at one of the record stores I went to in London, actually. Alive. So it was recorded in 2009 at one of the British summer rock festivals. Pill at their best. And this is another mix of new and old stuff. Pill, red vinyl, got to pick that up, why not? Now, we were down on the south coast in Portsmouth, a little suburb of Portsmouth on the south coast of England called South Sea, and there's a record store called Pie and Vinyl. And they mix two of the great things, meat pies and vinyl records. So I had to go and stop by Pie and Vinyl, which was fantastic. You're probably getting bored with me with the public image stuff, but I had to pick that up, Double Trouble, off the What the World Needs Now record. And I also picked up this one by a guy I've spoken about before, Sheffield music legend Richard Hawley, Late Night Final. This is from 2001. Classic Richard crooning, rockabilly, beautiful music. Love the cover in the cafe with the old girl sitting at the table there, Richard having a smoke. Bloke going through his shopping here, on the back too. Hot and cold beverages and singers. Can't go wrong. Late Night Final by the great Richard Hawley, Sheffield's finest. Now while we're in London, I visited the great Lynn and Boz Bora's record store, Vinyl Boutique, in Camden Town. They've actually moved to the basement of another record store, but we bypassed the record store, went straight to the basement to sift through what Boz and Lynn had down there. And Boz has played guitars and written songs with Morrissey for the last 25 years. So we went down there, and he had a lot, of course he had a lot of British music, a lot of rockabilly music. I walked out with a couple of Morrissey records, of course. This is from the 2004-2005 record, You Are the Quarry. First of the Gang to Die, a great song off that record. I've never seen that before, so I picked that up. And this is a 12-inch single, Sing Your Life, which is one of my favourite records, and not a lot of other people like. Kill Uncle, which is 1991's Morrissey record. This is a single off that album, Sing Your Life. It's got That's Entertainment on the B-side as well, which I'm pretty sure, I think That's Entertainment is I think it's the Jam song. So there you go. Sing Your Life by the great Morrissey. Stephen Patrick Morrissey of Manchester. And this one, I picked this up in a record store in Soho in London, and the name of that record store eludes me, so I'm not even going to bother remembering it. 1978's Public Image by Public Image Limited. The greatest band in my brain, anyway. It's got the Cowboy song as the flip side, which is a classic too. 1978, this is the first single after John left the Sex Pistols and pondered what he was going to do and got his mates together, Wobble and those guys, and they came up with this gem, Public Image Limited. Podcasts. Clint Boon. Clint Boon was in a great band called the Inspiral Carpets. They were at the forefront of that Madchester scene, you know, Happy Mondays, etc., Stone Roses, the late 80s, into the early 90s. He has a podcast called Story Time with Boon, and he just talks about you know, stuff back in those days. You know, reminisces about great recording studios, life on tour, and that sort of stuff. So it's really interesting, and he's a really good storyteller, Clint. So it's well worth a listen. It's on iTunes. So Story Time with Boon, get onto that. TV, I haven't spoken about TV shows much, but for any Australian rules football fans out there, the AFL in Australia, Footyology. Footyology is a show on a community channel in Melbourne called Channel 31. It has a couple of blokes, Rowan Connolly, who's a football writer, journalist for the Melbourne Age newspaper, and Mark Fine, who's another journalist. He's on SEN, which is a sports radio network, and he's a bit of an eccentric character, Finey. I like him a lot, and they're like a good comedy duo. They feed off each other really well. It's also on YouTube. I watch it via YouTube here in New York. If you type in Footyology on YouTube, and you'll find them once a week. Comes out here on a Tuesday. It's usually done on a Wednesday there, I think. It's also in Australia on Aurora, a channel on Foxtel, which is the cable provider in Australia. Footyology. Have a look at that if you're a footy fan. So that's about it for now. I'll get back to you quicker than I did last time, but I'll speak about probably speak about Noel Gallagher at least. He's the next show we're going to see, and anything else I've picked up along the way. So until then, rock on. Bye.